So hi there, Amanda. Can I just introduce you as now you? I don't know if you saw BioBag earlier, but there's a few people today who've been around for a while, you know, boxing on against traditional businesses, and you're one of the original organic and well, superfood suppliers, and also one of the originals who first started focusing on what you put on yourself is no different to what you put in yourself. Um, so looking forward to hearing the Mayella and Organics story, if I can.
Thank you. It's just a wonderful platform. Just so excited to be here today amongst all these panelists. I've been nodding my head like all the way through. I've been here like most of the day just listening because there's such a great group of people and so much to share, and yeah, just really affirming a lot of some of our journey as well, and some of those things that you encompassed when you set out to do something, one in business, but two, and it's a little bit not mainstream. So yeah, I really feel blessed to be here today. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you for coming. So, what have you got for us?
Okay, well, I'm going to waffle on for a while, and then I've got a little video later. So I guess a little bit about us, ProBioSkin. We're a family business. My co-founder is my mother, Robin, and our brand Mayella is named after my daughter, Sophie Mayella, and which is kind of like a constant reminder, I guess, that we are all about the family. And Mum keeps reminding Sophie that one day she'll get royalties from us using her name. So one day that might happen. And our story, I guess, began in a bit of a fairly traditional way, in that it's been for us a culmination of our combined careers, like my mother in business and retail, and myself as a holistic practitioner. That is what ProBioSkin is made of. It's essentially us and our fertile imaginations. So being a family business has been a great asset as a parent as well, and it's been given me a great deal of flexibility to be a parent and a business person going forward over the years, like attending a sports day or a child home sick has taken priority over the business calendar, and I've been very grateful always for that flexibility. And it's kind of come back to me a little bit. Why I'm bringing it up is that with this COVID-19 situation of everyone in their bubble and working from home and homeschooling, that I've kind of been lucky enough to have that flexibility with family first and a family business. And I kind of hope going forward that people might be able to have that choice, silver lining of these times, of if it's been an environment that's agreed with them, like with being more productive or being more happy with their work-life balance or mental health, those type of things, not having to commute perhaps, that it's something that business might be able to incorporate, have a bit more flexibility about going forward, because it certainly is a business model that I've thrived on, and I know has meant a lot to me, being able to be there for my children when they've needed me, as well as being able to express my creativity, in my business, and be passionate there as well with what we've been achieving over the years. So fingers crossed that's a little positive as we go forward back to work as normal, not normal. I am reading off some papers because I do tend to waffle a little bit, so I'm trying to stick to a script so I can get what I have to share across. Between my mother and I, we've had a pretty great understanding of what it means to, be able to pick up the kids from school, or, have dinner on the table and still achieve deadlines. We start early in the morning or we're working late. We're flexible with our structure. And that has given us sometimes, what can I say? sometimes been a little bit too intimate with each other, where we could, you know, express things in the middle of the night that need to be done, and wake up in the morning and get stuck into it. Things that you can't necessarily do with your work colleagues, because they'd leave. So my career as a holistic therapist, incorporating both beauty therapy and remedial therapies, reflexology, aromatherapy, deep tissue massage, all those kind of trigger points, and lymphatic drainage, has given me a very compassionate, I guess, understanding going forward about what the health industry is about and how it affects, how it plays out for people, what people actually are looking for in their lives. Some of my clients refer to me as the Earth Angel, or Earth Mother, which I've taken as a compliment most of the time, not about being a little bit too relaxed in my professional appearance. So, you know, helping others is in my DNA. It's part and parcel of what I'm about and how I'm programmed, and what I love to do, first and foremost. So one of our stockists in Brisbane has been popping up a lot lately. Morgan, you know who you are. She's a bit similar to me when I was younger. She's very passionate about her business as a beauty therapist and her care for her clients. And the whole lockdown, socialisation, isolation has driven her a little bit crazy, in that she hasn't had that funnel of being able to expend her caring energy to her clients. So her husband and her dogs have been slightly helicoptered the last few weeks, but hopefully soon she'll be, it's led her to be quite innovative with keeping in contact with looking after her clients. So to take care of them and take care of her need to care for them. So James from the Patch mentioned this morning some of his people that he's been able to help with those fantastic bandages, and I have to agree wholeheartedly that the testimonials and the emails that you get from your customers are part of the fuel that help you keep going and help you redefine what you're doing constantly, and get you over those speed bumps that we all come up against. Because when someone sends you an email and says, you know, I've been taking your greens, and, you know, I've been seeing my doctor for a thyroid condition, and he's saying to me, I need to go on hormone replacement, and, you know, I'm not really very happy about that because, you know, breast cancer runs in my family, or those kind of things. And then they start taking your product and working with a few things with you, and then they send you an email a few months later and say, my doctor's so happy with me, my thyroid counts changed, my bloods are all different, he's asking me what I'm doing, and the only thing I'm really doing differently is, you know, some changes I've made in my diet and incorporating your product. And that for us is what it's really all about, those things that you are able to be a part of in people's everyday lives. That's the bomb. So going back a little bit, when I was younger, I was dairy intolerant and a tendency to be anemic and faint suddenly. I was a bit dreamy, I guess, had a love of nature, animals, plants, wildlife. And when I reflect on how I got from that type, you know, being a bit of a dreamer as a child to an adult and on a career path, I can see, like, you know, nature was always a part of my love, my affinity with that, but also like the matriarchal influence in my life, the wise woman tribe, my mother, my aunts, close friends, the subliminal influence they had on me, leading me to where I am today, opening my eyes to my purpose. And I guess that belief in me as a person, what I had to share and what I had to offer, that's been a very special part of this journey. So, you know, you can't escape from your family. They know you too well. exploring my dietary intolerances, that brain fog and fatigue, which, when you're studying, things like that, isn't a great friend, led me to explore different foods and nutrition, exercise, and ultimately led me to being open to train as a therapist, the type of therapist that I became. So I was blessed initially to tag along with a close friend who'd always wanted, she was lucky enough to know what she wanted to do. She always wanted to be a beauty therapist. And I went with her to her interview, and we both ended up signing up to begin at the academy. And retrospectively, it was a pretty unique academy in their approach to what they were teaching students back in the 80s. Focused on biology and physiology and nutrition as a part of beauty therapy was not really a strong principle for most beauty academies. It was all about the waxing and the eyebrows and applying the products, but that got me over the line what their syllabus was about, and also going forward became a bit, quite aligned with me in that they taught everything the old-fashioned way. They went about things the right way, even if it took a bit longer. That was what was important, was the long-term gains and a healthy body meant a healthy skin. So they were also a family business, family model, mother and daughter. And I worked with them for a few years after I finished training in the clinic as a therapist and in the academy training students as well, which was a fabulous time. And it was a perfect fit for me ethically, and reinforcing for me as well what beauty therapy and what body health, what being healthy meant, I guess, and how to have a beautiful body, how to have a beautiful skin. A healthy skin was a healthy person, basically, and how and aligning that way with our treatments was the key part of how we worked. And of course, the aromatherapy essential oils just captured my heart as well. They were just fabulous. Part of that time as well. They made their own skincare, natural skincare, and we used that in the academy, and that kind of spoilt me going forward for a lot of commercial products as well, because then it was very hard to relate to products that had a lot of speak, but then just were full of mineral oils or fragrances and things that my skin didn't like, my skin would react to, let alone clients and things like that. So it was hard to have the hard sell mindset going forward when I went into the public and was working for other people. And we had targets to achieve with sales, and we're expected to speak the speak even if I just found it harder and harder to be able to do that, because I really didn't believe in what a lot of products were about. It was very rare to find a commercial product that was I guess worth the money that you were purchasing it for. So yeah, there was a lot of conflict there in when I was working in public or other clinics outside of where I were trained and outside of my own businesses. Getting back on track. So back in the 80s and 90s, beauty therapy was an art that encompassed everything from manis and pedis to facials and waxing and things like that. But it was also very much a caring industry where therapists were, you got very close to your clients most of the time, and as your client base built up, your clients became like an extension of your family. You knew a lot, you knew about what was happening in their lives, they knew about your life. They're very special relationships, and it's over the years been a very precious part of my career to have those relationships. And over 30 years of practice as a therapist. Sometimes it's a bit of a wow factor to acknowledge it's a generation of people that I started working with, and then they'd refer their husband or their daughter or their neighbour would come. So many beautiful pregnancies. It's been an absolute honour to be a part of, and working with supporting the journey of pregnancy, and then meeting that little baby and feeling like you already know them, and also supporting the mum realign into being a mum and what that means. It's such an incredible gift and such an incredible journey to embark on, going from a single person to this tiny little person in your care. So that's been an absolute joy. And now, of course, some of those babies are young adults, and I've seen them as clients as well. So that's quite a special part of what my career has been about, and what this journey of Mayella is about as well, because those client experiences are like they're like a lighthouse. They're a guiding light in our business model as to what our products and company are about, and how we actually are in people's lives. What our skincare sitting in their bathroom means, or what the superfoods in their kitchen, the potential they have, or those teas, herbal teas, times of stress. It's really quite incredible opportunity to not just be a business person, but also have that clinical practice to sort of know how things can really optimize people's health and well-being. So yeah, I feel blessed. So my own children came along when I had a young business, 2 years into a new business, and they've grown up amongst it all, and been experimented on over the years. And so, again, referring back to my clients, I was always recommending they go and find this food or that vitamin or a product to help with their particular need. And then that experience with my clients, with my own children, I was applying a similar practice to. And what I found was I wasn't ready to go into the typical Johnson & Johnson range of stuff for babies. I don't want to put talcum powder onto their bottoms, or those products on the nappy wipes on their bodies. So, we had a baby bag filled with lotions and potions, and lavender and tea tree, chamomile water for spray bottles for nappy change, and concoctions to put in not actually a lot of concoctions to put in the bath water. It was just a few essential oils were most powerful, keeping them clean and safe. Porridges and foods being constantly made in the kitchen, and not processed baby foods. I just couldn't align with that as being a part of being a young mother, as needing to do that. And I can remember having conversations with some young mums who had horrific experiences with nappy wipes, for example, and the sensitivity it gave their little precious ones. And I think when you have a newborn child, there's nothing as fresh as that beautiful skin, and those little nostrils that have got absolutely nothing up there, and it just heightens your awareness of protecting them and keeping them safe. And part of that is not getting caught up in that whole commercial world of what you need to put on your little babies' bodies. So, again, many questions and conversations over the years about their own lives and families that I was implementing for real into my own family now, and wasn't just theory. Or what I found was a lot of my ideas worked, and they worked really well. We didn't have nappy rash or cradle cap. I really wish we had the patch, James. So many people with allergies to Band-Aids, and you know, my own children had sensitive skin too, so it wasn't something that we liked using, even though, yeah, patch would have been amazing. So long story short, our serendipitous day arrived. Mum and I were having a conversation one day, and we just looked at each other, and that light bulb where we just started talking about what about putting our knowledge and our abilities into helping a wider community, you know, and then our business was born. You know, we just did it. It was like Chrissy from Inspired Pop was saying, one day it just happens, something just clicks and you're on that path. And 10 years later, it's been quite a journey. So right from the beginning, for us, it was really important to be ethical and have really clean ingredients, and doing so not compromising efficacy. So sourcing indigenous ingredients has been a big part of our journey, and supporting local communities with that, and also finding quite unique ingredients it's been very satisfying to look outside of the box for different ingredients that form our teas, our greens, and our skincare. So we've also relied heavily on our trading partners with suppliers to source Ecocert, Cosmos approved, Australian certified, USDA ingredients, things that you know you can trust, because of those pathways that people have worked hard to get, you know, farm and get their products approved. And even with some of the smaller countries, their government bodies are usually very active with helping, you know, farming communities or village communities to get their products to the need, i.e. us. And it's really a fabulous part of being part of that journey of connecting with family businesses in different countries as well. It's really quite a lot of fun. Another thing that's really important to us is what we don't put in our products. We don't add sugars, or if there's fruit in it, of course it has a natural fruit sugar, but we don't add sugar. We're dairy free. That's part of my bias with my intolerances, but I don't think it needs to be in a lot of it doesn't need to be in a lot of products as an ingredient. If people enjoy dairy, it's up to them to add it to their smoothie, etc. But to have it in a product, for us, it defeated the purpose of having clean ingredients, powerful concentrated ingredients, if you like. And for us, a dairy product tended to dilute the concentration of the raw ingredients, as well as intolerances and things like that. So gluten-free, we're gluten-free and GMO-free with our skincare. Not having any toxic ingredients is essential and absolute must. The Palm Oil Alliance with Maria Abdullah is an amazing part of certification that we've connected with recently, being palm oil free and certified, because I think Brianna referred to that earlier from Ethique. It really is very hard to find ingredients that don't have palm oil in them, because it's an incredible thriving industry and it really is in everything. So it takes a lot of focus and determination to find raw ingredients that don't have palm oil in them, but it's well worth it, because you know there are fantastic ingredients out there that and finding, and again, your relationships with your suppliers and your sources, having that trust is essential part of clean ingredients. So, and you know, the bonus is the silver lining of that journey that you go on to find different things is that, you know, you're connecting with people from all over the world, and you're forming relationships with people that, you know, add a lot of magic to what it is that you're doing, and a lot of realness behind that little tub sitting on the shelf. It is actually all about people, and it's not just about you know, a factory, if you like. So yeah, so we're mostly self-regulated, apart from the palm oil certified, and we pin ourselves on very firmly on a board with a foundation of ethics in everything we do. It's really quite an essential part of our operations. The stories of my fellow panelists have also enforced this journey of what it means, the sticking to your ethics and the ups and downs of finances and formulating and development and your precious IP, protecting your IP through that process of what your brand is about, what your products are about. And I think, you know, again, connecting with the Eco platform is another aspect of that for us, because to be a part of a like-minded community is incredible for us as a family business, but also for consumers. So that's a fantastic asset to consumer choices going forward. So our business being a family business, we have also been self-funded right from the beginning. And I guess, you know, children coming first, family coming first, as a part of how our business operates, being self-funded is also dictated to an extent our growth curve. And Mum and I both have an abundance of ideas and pretty fertile imaginations. And we've got a pretty prolific drawing board just waiting to be realised. So patience. Everything has a due process. The budget has had a sharp rein on our ideal product releases. As self-funding also means to stay within your means and learn to kind of really, I think it's been good for our business in the long run, because it's mean we've had to have very strong structure and, you know, stable foundation. Although we have sometimes, you know, had the Janine Ellis sort of mind of selling the house to keep it all rolling. But then, you know, you turn another corner, you hit you create, you know, you achieve a milestone, give yourself a little pat on the back, and you keep going again, and that's what it's, you know, it's all about. It's, I think our business has sometimes been our nicotine, you know, that adrenaline that comes with stretching, and then achieving a goal, and then just going, oh, okay, wow, you know, and the fulfillment, the pleasure in that is all the more rich because of that, what we put into it, I guess. So again, you know, keep coming back to the family model and having that family base for what we do. Our social good comes naturally from that ethos as well. We tend to, or we are self motivated with social good. Like we do get approached a lot. I think James again from Patch referred to this. You do get approached from different associations, sporting groups, individuals, people, but also, you know, in our own actions, going in our own path, we come across different people or different groups that we feel an affinity with, or we see a need, and we reach out as we can, like with as it is, whether it's financial support or donations or what's the word I'm looking for, mentoring, those type of things. Really, it's I think it's a very humbling thing to be able to do in business, but also rewarding to be able to share what you've learned or what you're able to give. And most of the time, the sensitivity of some of the things that we support, like domestic violence or orphanages, some very, very lovely people doing some very amazing work in some very critical situations. We feel really privileged to be able to help, and most often a very small way, but hopefully making a difference. And it's not something that I guess we've sort of chosen to really publicise a lot, or just to kind of make it too much of a fluff about, because we just sort of go about it and we just do it. And there's a few projects that we're looking at this year along mentoring lines, with sharing some of my knowledge in the therapies for different people in different situations, and like a training aspect. And that's really exciting to kind of be able to be in the position to put some time aside to do that going forward. There's just such a massive need out there for giving, I think. Benefiting your family with some very good nutrition and health. Things like I've created a little video to share with you, one we put together earlier that I'll put together now. Today I thought we'd just have a bit of fun with a green smoothie bowl, because we're all in stay home, stay safe, and over the menu, like what's for dinner tonight or what's the snacks, that kind of thing. So there's nothing really much more easier than a smoothie bowl. And the most beautiful thing about it is it's really fun to make, it's really delicious, and it's got so much goodness in it. So it's all about fruit, which often, if you've got a young family, isn't that easy to get them to have their fruit, or they have their favourite fruits and you can't get them, that kind of thing. So we're going to make a couple of smoothie bowls. You'll notice that the bananas that I'm using are a bit brown and spotty. They're still firm, but they're quite ripe. Not too ripe that you can make a banana bread, but quite ripe. And this is good from the point of view of it adds a little bit extra sweetness, which gives more energy. And if you're wanting to exercise, that type of thing, or after school sports. And also something called tumor necrosis factor, which is something that helps your cells overcome cancerous activity, things like that. So not that you need to worry too much about that, but it is a little bonus. If you want to use greener bananas, like sometimes in the supermarket they only have the greener bananas, or they're not only just quite ripe ones, they're also excellent because they're really high in what they call resistant starch. And this is really good for gut health and lowering blood sugar, and also for suppressing your appetite. So sometimes you get that mid-afternoon cravings for things, and you don't want to eat too much before dinner. Using your green bananas or your not quite ripe bananas are perfect for that type of thing. Or weight loss, watching what you're eating. Okay, bananas. The idea with a smoothie bowl is you don't want it to be too slushy. So we're only going to use a little bit of water, about 100 mils. And you'll notice our blender's well loved, one of the best loved appliances in the kitchen. In the Vitamix they have this incredible part here which enables you to, when you're making hummus or paste like that, or particularly smoothies, pretty much every family, I think, or anyone should have a blender as one of their first kitchen investments. If you have a blender, you can make anything and everything, anytime. Here we go. Okay, blended up the bananas in the water. Sometimes if you let them sit for a little bit, they get a little bit sweeter in the mix as well. This is our alkalized green and go. It's a concentrated plant whole food based on alfalfa and barley, spirulina, chlorella, lemon and ginger. So it's really good for your digestive health and switching on your energy cycles in your body. So it's a brilliant one to have first thing in the morning, when to switch yourself on, get up and go. And we put because I'm making 2 bowls, I'm putting like 2 heaped teaspoons in there. And that's like a 20 times concentrate of a food source for like the equivalent of like your spinaches and greens, and like super easy, just have it on the shelf. There we go. Okay, so here we go. It's quite a runny one, so it's a bit more, not quite so cold, but they're a lot of fun to dress. This is the fun part, and this is where if you've got kids, you can get really creative with what you're dressing them up with. Muesli, we get this from our local markets in the weekend of some bioactive, so we just sprinkle that over, dress it up. There's like no limits with what you can do with your decorating or your toppings. Grated chocolate, peanut butter is always a bit yummy, especially with the bananas. The bananas and peanut butter go together really well because it helps enhance the dopamine in the brain, so while we're all feeling a little bit anxious about what's going on in the world, that's a big plus. Happiness. Just some fresh almonds or peanuts if you're not allergic. Hemp seeds are amazing to sprinkle on your smoothie bowls. They give a really nice, again, another really nutty sort of texture and taste, and they're full of omega essential fatty acids and things for brain health, great for your skin, nervous system again, which is always a big plus. They can't use that one. And chia seeds as well, another little nice little crunchy factor with your smoothie bowls. Okay, so this is a green smoothie bowl, so alkalizing, good for detoxing, cleansing the blood, deodorizing the body too if you're having a bit of trouble with, body odor and things like that. Your greens are amazing the way that they cleanse your body and detox your body, and it's great for recovery too, like your green bowls. If you haven't been well, because of the way that it works with building your blood and boosting your immunity. So also another thing you can do with your smoothie bowls is you can do acai berry bowls. We have this beautiful product here, which is all from fruits, no additives or sugars, berries, goji berries, strawberries, blueberries, acai berries, and our beautiful Australian native the kakadu plum, which is one of the world's highest sources of vitamin C. So that's a definite awesome antioxidant blend for these times especially. So you can either use it as a little sprinkle on top of your bowl, or you can make your bowl up pretty much the same as what we did with the bananas and using the acai berry instead of the greens. Or sometimes you get a bit excited and do them all together in the blend, but sprinkling them on top is awesome. And for the kids too, the acai berry is amazing when you put a teaspoon like that in with yogurt and mix it in together, or into a milk of your choice like a macadamia milk or something like that. Instant berry milkshake, it's fantastic. And a good friend of ours has a lot of fun with our rooibos chai. It's caffeine free. All your herbs with like cinnamon, fennel, black pepper, cardamom, smells divine. It makes an incredible chai smoothie bowl. So if you're a chai fan, you just simply make up your chai blend, like with the hot water, and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. And you've got your concentrate that you add into the blend with the bananas and maybe a little bit of a vanilla stick or something like that, vanilla essence, pure vanilla essence. That's divine. Little maple syrup poured over the top. It's more of a, sometimes a dessert than it is a healthy snack, because it's something you want to sit and savour, that one. Yum. So yeah, we've had a lot of fun today making our alkalized green and go green smoothie bowl. Hope you give it a go at home and enjoy. Bon appetit. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. We've had some pretty yummy food on today. We need to do a food channel, eco food channel.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amanda, I'm just conscious of time. I have a couple of questions there. Would you mind having a quick look to see if you can answer them?
Okay, so that bowl looks amazing. What are the main questions people ask you as a practitioner? Okay, so basically why? Why would I, why throw it in a blender? You know, why can't I just have some veggies, that type of thing? So I think that the basic premise is the things like with a smoothie or a smoothie bowl is that you're having concentrated food. It's a concentrated food source. So whether you're using something like our superfoods, which is like a 20 times concentrate of the raw ingredients. So 1 teaspoon is like having 20 times the amount of nutritional value. And they're like jam-packed full of minerals, vitamins, nutrition. It's a complete nutritional profile that different to, say, taking a vitamin supplement, which is isolated ingredients, to having a superfood or a smoothie bowl. You've got like a whole food there. You've got a nutritional banquet, if you like, that your body sees and absorbs and embraces, and it's supporting digestion, it's activating metabolic processes, it's supporting your body to do a whole lot of different things that it likes to do, and the way it likes to do it isn't having to find pathways to do it. It's really yummy as well. It's a super easy way to make a really yummy, healthy snack. It takes minutes, and you're just loading up your body with a whole lot of goodness. And I think, you know, having a blender in the family is one of the best investments any kitchen can have. Yeah. So okay. So I think you mentioned it, but it's more important to have. Is it more important to have Australian or organic ingredients? Okay. So this is one of the things we come up with against all the time. Our nutrition and teas are all organic. We don't have any issues with finding incredible ingredients that are organic and bioactive and highly nutritious because of those farming principles. So I'd say definitely organic is a preference with your foods. With, say, skincare, that's a little bit of a different subject, and there's another question relating to that. So yeah, organic as a first, a sustainable pathways, biodynamic, tick, 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 for return on value and quality. So I would like to work in the area of natural beauty. How could I start? Okay, so when I trained, we were actually at our canopy. We were actually part of a government body. My boss was very academically minded, and at the time our award structure was underneath hairdressing, which grated her incredibly, immensely, enough to actually venture into the area of writing her own syllabus, which at the time, again, people were spending a lot of money on getting the experts to do, which she was like, no, I can do this myself. And as a result, we were on some different government bodies and things like that, and structuring the Beauty Therapy Award and what that was all about. And since that time, the wheels have turned incredibly through what beauty therapy is actually all about. I think the best thing you can do is there's government bodies and there's private academies. And I think the best, apart from going and having a talk with them and hearing what their syllabus is all about, because the price structures are all very different as well. So it's quite a considerable investment. And if it's something you're passionate about, your training is a big diving board into that industry. So starting with someone that you feel that you are excited about what they're training you in is a big part of making that natural beauty career a success. I also do believe that incorporating some other lines into that training like with naturopathy and things like that. There's different degrees you can, or different diplomas that you can do. Sorry, not degrees, diplomas you can do in nutrition and diet and things like that. And also an academy that teaches aromatherapy, so that you're bringing those holistic sides into what you're wanting to then go on and do as a natural beauty therapist. There's also some very, like Chrissy with the Inspired Little Pot illustrated this morning, there's also some really great online things that you can do with that are teaching natural beauty with products and formulations and things like that. I think that entwined with the aromatherapy gives you a great basis for understanding what it is that you're putting on people's skin and why, and are doing no harm. You know, I think that's a great ethical approach to take. Yeah, great question. Where could I go to learn what you do? So I think I'm a little bit out of touch with specific places, but I know that there are some really good schools out there in Australia. Definitely accreditations, like things that are nationally accredited courses and internationally accredited. I studied to ITEC, which is an International Therapist Examining Council, which gave a great advantage of like a broader overview of the subjects that you learnt, and also the level of knowledge. So definitely check the accreditation of what courses it is that you're that academies or the schools that you might be looking at. That's a big plus. Yeah, with any training that you want to embark on, because I think caring for people is definitely a privilege, and if you have that passion and you're interested in skin and skincare, and a lot of beauty therapists come from a background where they've had conditions themselves with their skin, so that's been a driving force for them to learn more about the skin. And I think it's very discouraging when you don't find the answers, you know, when it's all about the marketing and it's all about the commercial product. Again, as Chrissy was saying before, the greenwashing, because that's not really the answer. It really, I do hope, and I do think I might try to source a couple for Jennifer to include later in any follow-up conversations. I do feel that there's some holistic type beauty schools out there. It might come down to you incorporating a couple of different diplomas, like the beauty therapy and say perhaps the nutrition or the /naturopathy or aromatherapy courses, to get the whole qualification that you're looking for and the direction that you're looking for. Yeah.
Amanda, Jane has joined us as well. I know she's got a question for you, so I might just unmute her. Here we go, Jane. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Lovely story, Amanda. I really appreciated how you've integrated family life into your business operation. I noticed that you use kakadu plums, and I'm just wondering what other indigenous plants, you know, you might be integrating or already use. What's the potential there?
Yes, we have quite a few in the skincare, and in the teas we have a couple in the teas, the Australian, the lemon myrtle, which is delicious and so fresh. Our Beauty and Brains has the lemon myrtle, and that's I'm sipping on that right now actually. We have the Davidson plum and the Kwandong. The lime caviar is an absolutely incredible, oh gosh, it's just divine. It's just such an incredibly appealing fruit on every level. It's beautiful to look at when you eat it, those little pearls, but it is one of the best natural exfoliating products that we have it in our exfoliating serum, and it's one of the best. It's better than a lot of your AHAs, your alpha hydroxy acids, like your malic acid and lactic acid, those different ingredients, because it helps to unglue, if you like, the dead skin cells and the build up of gunk on your skin with sebum and dirt and things like that that get trapped on those surface cells. Helps to exfoliate, but it also helps to hydrate, and it's anti-inflammatory as well. So, and it doesn't have the sting factor that a lot of the AHAs have as well. So it's a beautiful ingredient in skincare, as well as yummy food to eat. So yeah, we are exploring quite a few more different ones with different communities as well, because and just such a pleasure as well. The diversity of Australian flora and fauna is amazing, and because of our environment that we have here over the centuries, over the millennia, it's developed such an incredible potency of because of its need to stay alive, how it can stay alive. It's like survive or die. So, you know, some of the efficacy of these Australian natives is just amazing. Yeah, but like the kakadu plum with the vitamin C, that is amazing. Really quite, you really, I was going to say before, like I used to put spirulina, and like my kids are now 16 and 18, put spirulina and barley grass in their yogurt, and it was like, you know, a green thing, and it was really fun as a parent to see that smeared all over their faces as they were self-feeding themselves and things. But you know, when they were toddlers, they used to go and help themselves to crunching on spirulina tablets or having a spoonful of our acai berry, because it would make them feel good. Like it was a little bit of a treat. But if they you know, their children's wisdom is amazing, and they if they felt a little bit tired or whatever, or sniffly, those kind of things, myself giving it to them, but then themselves self-medicating, they would just go and grab a teaspoon and ho-hum on their way, kind of thing. So, and myself, I know I have had a tendency over the years with sore throats and laryngitis, tonsillitis, and if I have a teaspoon of the acai berry beautiful with the kakadu plum, you can just feel it, you know, working its way through your lymphatics and to your tonsils and things like that. And Mother Nature's medicine is really quite amazing. Australian natives are incredible. I have a deep love for those. Yeah, great question.
Jane's an agricultural scientist who I just to declare her hand on her behalf, who turned into a clothing person. So, I mean, we all start somewhere, right?
I love it.
I think, I guess the extension of that question, if I may, Jane, is also, I think it's everyone's favourite question, which speaks to this. The indigenous foods and it's local indigenous. I mean, if you can survive in the environment that the humans survive in, then that's was to your point about the strength of the kakadu plum, wasn't it, that you were talking to, and even the limes from
caviar limes. Yeah.
Because they do have, it's true, isn't it, that they have a much greater potency than anything else, really, any parallel fruit.
That's right. Yeah, but there's like I mean, the Amazon, you know, it's the tip of the iceberg with what's left there with the biodiversity, and there's so many different things that have come from, say, the Amazon, and what that ecology has to offer, like, you know, the acai berry also, like, you know, even just a common blueberry, a lot of good chili, incredible product, food for health-giving properties, a lot of very concentrated health benefits come in little small parcels. But the Australian natives are in quite a unit of their own, really, with what they have to offer, and where they grow. You know, like there's another, some of the grasses and things like that. Like we have so many species of grasses, and you know, they all have quite unique factors to offer as well. So I do think, I really hope that we have really good management of that resource, and that it stays with, again, one of the silver linings, it's probably not quite a great silver, well, it's hopefully going to be a positive silver lining, is the management of the bush burn-offs. You know, coming back into the hands of the elders and the indigenous peoples who know how to manage our landscapes. And hopefully you know, my personal prayer is that our Australian natives and their development as a commodity stays to a great extent with indigenous people as well, so that they don't become a commercial crop, to the extent that we see, you know, a lot of commercialization of different crops and things like that, you know, to their detriment sometimes. Yeah. I hope they stay well handled, well loved, well managed.
At least it's brought the conversation around, hasn't it? Which is a start. Hopefully it doesn't stop there, because there's probably a little bit too much talking and not enough action.
Yes.
At least, that's one of the, well, I think it's my forward scout message from ISO and COVID-19. Time for action. At least we acted instead of
sitting by and watching. Yeah. I know you had your own personal experience with the fires and things like that cut deep. So I think that definitely can't. I don't want the fire, the lessons of what that's all about, to be overrun by the COVID-19, because I see that it's been two extremely powerful messages for society, you know, very much on the similar wavelengths, if you like, of what we as people need to embrace going forward with our personal health and wellness, and our environmental health and wellness as well. So
yeah, very good point. Actually, they are two distinctly different lessons, both of which converge on what we're all here about, though. You know, indeed. So, Jane, did you have anything else you wanted to ask Amanda before?
Not specifically, no, that was great.
Thanks, Jane.
And Amanda, what would you like to leave us with in terms of, although that was a very good point. I honestly hadn't thought about it. I mean, the fire, I rolled the two of them together, but in fact there's a lot of lessons in both. Yeah,
the micro and the macro, really. It's been quite a powerful time, and you know, this, as much as the lockdown and the bubble environment has been difficult, and there's a lot of hardship that people have had to endure because of that, with work and etc. You know, I do think, you know, as a community, if we lean into each other, you know, it's definitely a time for government to be listening and taking action and taking some really solid steps towards what tomorrow is about, because you know, people have been talking about different things since the 70s. You know, scientists have been saying different things, and you know, it's definitely a time. I know for us, working with, you know, natural ingredients and trying to source natural ingredients, are we looking at a limited resource or are we looking at a continuation and actually better methods of managing our resources? That's my take. Yeah,
I think in the end, though, there's a big message around grassroots and not waiting for others. You know, we're all perfectly capable of contributing what we can. Captain Tom.
Oh, Captain Tom has been incredible. Oh my God, I love him. And I'm seriously, I was so excited with Scott earlier talking before about FOGO, and so embarrassed that Queensland is zero, because I saw on Guardian Australia, Costa, my compost loving man, he was talking to some people in Perth who that's their business. They do the composting from the plant waste for Perth.
I know the whole Queensland garbage thing is a whole day.
Bring it on.
We've had some fabulous worm farmers here collecting local waste, which is great. But certainly South Australia have been at it for so long. I mean, they've had, council have had kitchen waste collection there for 10 years, I think.
Wow, yeah.
Long time. Anyway, well, thank you so much. That's fabulous and really interesting. And those last comments really resonate. I hope you can stick around. It's been a long day, and thank you for being here all day.
Oh, it hasn't felt like a long day, and honestly, everyone's been fantastic, fascinating, and like I said, little like, oh yeah, I hear you on that, resonating, and and so really exciting to see that what people are really doing, you know, in our everyday lives, you know. Yeah, what we're all trying to be a part of. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, we've got clothing, we've got clothing rescue really, and batteries, and Alvin Denham's joining us too tonight. That he was the last minute. He's doing a crowdfund, equity crowdfund on virtual. He's raised $1 million actually.
Oh wow, fabulous!
Yeah, I call him the Meghan Markle man, which I'm sure he doesn't. It is how he sold a lot of jeans though. Anyway, thank you so much.
Ciao.
I'd now like to introduce.
Bye, Jane.
I'd like